Thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and check out my Instagram for cool science and not science stuff. And a big thank you to my patrons on Patreon for your contributions to my channel. Let's now talk about the specific types of thermotherapy. There are 5 we'll mention here. The first is the hot pack, the most common kind. Hot packs like this one come in a variety of shapes and sizes. This particular one is good at conforming to wrap around limbs, like wrapping around the ankles, wrapping around the shoulders, even on the back of the neck. There's others that are larger that actually just lay flat, like they can lay flat on the abdomen or the low back or something like that. Okay? And they're usually kept in a hot water bath that ranges between about 158 and 167 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, when you put this on a patient, first of all, you're going to want to wrap it with towel layers. Now, the standard is between 6 and 10 towel layers, which basically means between about 3 to 5 towels, because each towel wraps around the hot pack twice. So one towel would be 2 layers, 2 towels would be 4 layers, and so on and so forth. Now, this exact number can change a lot for 2 main reasons. One, some clinics will actually have you put this in a pouch that's actually made specifically for this, which actually counts as several layers, and then maybe you'll only have 1 towel around that. It can also depend on patient preference. Some patients just like it hotter. Okay, some patients don't. And so if they don't like it as hot, you might want to put more towels around it. If they like it more hot, then less towels. So this range of numbers can actually vary a lot depending on a bunch of factors. But usually they'll say about 6 to 10 layers. The energy transfer once you put the hot pack on is by conduction. So remember, conduction is when you have 2 objects in contact and neither is moving. Obviously, the hot pack is not moving over the skin, so it's conduction. And you can do this treatment up to about 20 minutes. You really don't want to exceed 20 minutes because you can cause damage to the skin, okay, or at least irritation. So restrict it to at most 20 minutes. A lot of times you'll see 10 to 15. What should this feel like? Fresh warm towels that just came out of the dryer. So when you do the dryer and you pull the warm towels out and you put that on the skin, that's what the hot pack should feel like. If it feels hotter than that, then you want to put more towels over it. If they can't feel this at all, then you probably want to take some towels off, assuming that they have intact sensation. Now, other than the precautions that we talked about in the previous slide, with the hot pack, you want to be careful of bony prominences. Okay? You can still put it on bony prominences, you just need to be careful and maybe adjust the number of towel layers as needed. So one thing we'll talk about later on in other videos is that bone heats up faster than other tissues. So bone is going to heat up faster than muscle and fat. So that means if you have a hot pack on bones that are near the surface of the skin, like the spinous processes of the back, they're going to heat up faster than, let's say, the lats or the erector spinae muscles surrounding it. So if you have a person in supine where the hot pack is between the table and their back, and especially because they're putting weight on it now, right? That's going to cause the spinous process to heat up a lot. And so you want to take that into consideration and perhaps wrap it in more towels. That way you don't risk damaging the bone and causing the patient any pain. The second type of thermotherapy is the paraffin bath. I actually misspelled this. It's P-A-R-A-F-F-I-N. But the basis of the paraffin bath, which is shown here, is you basically have a wax that sits in the bath, and you heat it up to melt the wax into a liquid form. And normally it's about 126 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a little more complicated than this, but you basically just stick an extremity in the bath, like a hand or a foot, and it solidifies the wax on the skin and holds the heat in. I'll show you what that looks like on the next slide. But because the wax dries on the hand and the wax don't move, and so the heat transfer is therefore also via conduction, like we saw with the hot pack. So let's actually talk a little bit more about the paraffin. So paraffin wax is a soft, colorless solid derived from petroleum coal or oil shale. That's not really that important. What is important is that it's a mixture of hydrocarbon compounds, all between about 20 to 40 carbons. So being a hydrocarbon mixture, it's going to be normally solid. So you have to put it in this bath and melt it. So it's melted into a gelatinous liquid, and the distal extremities, most often the hand, can be immersed in it. So what are the effects of using a paraffin bath? Well, because it's a thermotherapy, it increases local blood flow. It results in relaxation of the muscles. It reduces joint stiffness and increases range of motion. That has to do with that increased collagen compliance. It also reduces muscle spasms because it decreases muscle tone, right? And it reduces inflammation, actually, that we see in arthritis. So a paraffin bath is actually excellent for hand arthritis. That's actually the most common use of it. Also, because this is a wax and therefore lipid-based, when you put it on the skin, it actually causes a soothing effect and it softens calluses on the hands. And sometimes, in particular up north where there's very dry winters when it's cold, it's often used to soothe the dry, cracked skin on the hands, the feet, and the heels. If you just did a water bath, when the water dries, it actually dries the skin out. But because this is actually lipid-based, it actually results in moisturizing of the skin, and that's another benefit of using this on the hands and the feet. Now, you can use this on the hands or the feet. We're going to use hands as an example here. So you basically first immerse the hand in the paraffin bath, and then you take it out, and you let that paraffin wax dry on the hand. It doesn't take long, it occurs fairly quickly. Then you immerse it back in, and then you pull it out and let that layer dry. And you can do anywhere between about 2 to 5 layers of paraffin. It depends on your clinic and the protocol, right? And then once you've got a sufficient number of layers of paraffin around the hand, you basically are going to wrap it in a plastic bag. So he's going to put his hand here in this plastic bag and then wrap it around the hand and the arm several times, right? Once you have it wrapped in plastic like this, you simply then take a towel and put that around it to insulate it and keep that heat in. Then you just sit there. And the total duration of the treatment is about 20 minutes, although it can be less if the patient can't tolerate it or if it serves the desired effect in under 20 minutes. Once the 20 minutes, or at least the treatment, is over, then you simply remove the towel, you remove the plastic wrap, and literally the paraffin just peels off like this. It's very easy to get off, and it leaves the skin moisturized, as we talked about, in addition to serving those overall effects. And like we mentioned, it's excellent for hand arthritis. And one of the most common types of arthritis in the hands, other than rheumatoid, would actually be CMC joint arthritis, so carpal metacarpal joint at the thumb. It's excellent for that. And if you want a tutorial, it's actually shown down here. I'll try to remember to put the link to that video in the description of this video. The method I just showed you is what's called the Dipwrap method, because we dip it and we take it out, dip it, tape it out, right? Get those layers of wax around the hand, and then you wrap it in the plastic wrap. But there's also a dip immersion method where we only get 1 to 2 layers of that wax, and then we immerse it then in the paraffin bath again and hold it there for 20 minutes. There's a couple keys here that we want to absolutely make sure we follow. One is you dry the hands before you do any of this, okay? That means getting all water off the hands or anything that could potentially go into the paraffin bath. That's because the water will actually heat up on the skin due to being immersed in the paraffin bath and cause a burn. The other thing we want to make sure we do is we want to make sure any metal is off of the skin. So jewelry, rings, anything like that. So remember that this is a wax, so it is flammable. So no smoking around the area. We want to look out for cross-contamination because if one patient puts their hand in this, then another patient may do it later on, and if there's an infection or anything like that, that can get cross-contaminated. We would also never do this on healing scar tissue, scratches, or open wounds. But the most common things you want to watch out for are no water on the skin and not over anything metal like jewelry. The third type of thermotherapy is what's called fluidotherapy. So just a little bit of detail on this. So this is a high-intensity heat modality consisting of a dry whirlpool of finely divided solid particles suspended in a heated air stream, the mixture having the properties of a liquid. So basically the person puts a limb or two basically through these giant-looking glove things that actually extend up the arms. Okay? And the arms are going through these little tubes here and into this machine. The way this actually works is you have air here, and it's heated, and it's moved around in a vortex type of pattern, so it basically creates a whirlpool of air. However, the air is also mixed with cellulose particles that, believe it or not, are also derived from corn. Now, because the air, which is moving around in a vortex, also has cellulose particles, It actually gives the air kind of the properties of a liquid, even though air is a gas. And so having the properties more of a liquid, it'd be sort of like sticking your arms in a whirlpool of water. The difference is a whirlpool of water will actually leave your arms or hands dried out, right? When water dries, it dries the skin. This doesn't dry out the skin as much as water would, okay? However, it can be used to treat entire limbs, and it covers a larger surface area than the hot packs we talked about or the paraffin bath on the previous slide, okay? So what are the specific indications for fluidotherapy? Well, the same indications for heat, so pain relief, tissue healing, increased range of motion. However, one additional indication is if on the arms or the legs, you have hypersensitive areas. So if, let's say you have something on the forearm that is hypersensitive, there is some evidence that fluidotherapy can desensitize that hypersensitive area. That's something that the other thermotherapies are not known to do. The only major weakness of fluidotherapy is that you can only use it on the limbs. You obviously can't stick your head in there. You can't stick your glutes or your lumbar spine. You can't do that with fluidotherapy. So it's pretty much restricted to the upper and lower extremities. Okay? Now, you still have to watch out for small scratches and scar tissue, okay, because you do have this air moving around, and it can be bad for those if they're exposed, so you want to make sure to cover those. And also know that the limb is in a dependent position, okay? What should the patient feel? They should just feel that their arms or legs are warm. And note that the temperature here of the air inside the fluidotherapy chamber is between about 100 and 118 degrees Fahrenheit. The other major difference here is that the energy transfer is via convection, not conduction. Remember, conduction is when you have two surfaces in direct contact and neither are moving. In convection, at least one of those surfaces is moving. Well, the arms aren't moving, but the air is moving. So the air is actually moving over the arms, and that means the energy transfer is via convection. Now, the last two, we have infrared therapy and contrast baths. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail on infrared therapy right now because we have an entire video after this that's going to discuss it. Okay? But infrared therapy, its energy transfer is via radiation because it's using light. Okay? Here's an example of an infrared lamp. It pretty much just shines infrared radiation on the skin. Okay? For an infrared lamp, usually the treatment duration is going to be about 15 to 20 minutes. And the closer this lamp is to the skin, the more at risk you are for burning the skin, and also the shorter the duration. The further this is from the skin, the longer the duration is going to have to be because the skin's not going to heat up as quickly. The reason I chose to have another video over infrared therapy specifically is because, first of all, you can see there is no temperature that we're setting, right? It's actually wavelengths of light. So the wavelengths typically for infrared are going to be 780 to 1400 nanometers, so it's a range of wavelengths of light. And the other thing is that its mechanism is very different, okay? It's using radiation waves, and those waves penetrate through the skin and actually stimulate mitochondrial function. That's something that heat does not do, so we're going to look at that in more detail in a separate video. Okay, the only precaution we have to worry about really with the lamp is that it burns if it's too close, like I mentioned. We can also use light pads that can emit infrared light. Those actually go directly on the skin, and we don't have to worry about burning with them unless we just do the treatment too long, which is easy to get around. And there's also probes, which you move over the skin and they have to keep moving. So the only precaution there is don't set it on the skin, because if you just leave it there statically, it will burn that part of the skin. Okay? Again, keep the treatment duration down to avoid burning. We'll talk about these three things in more detail in the next video. But in short, infrared light therapy, you basically shine infrared light on the skin. It does not have to be in direct contact because the light will move through the air and it will penetrate through the skin, and it actually works by accelerating tissue healing, particularly in the acute phase of healing. The last type of thermotherapy is what's called a contrast bath. There's actually two baths here. The first one is the hot one or warmer one. I should have kept the terminology consistent there, but it's between about 100 and 111 degrees Fahrenheit. And then there's one that's colder, so that's cold water here or colder water. And that's between about 50 to 64 degrees Fahrenheit. And basically all you do is you alternate the hand between the two baths. So for example, we'll take this hand and we'll first put it in the hot water one or a warmer water. And we submerge it, right? And we're going to leave it there anywhere between 3 and 10 minutes. Okay. Now, the reason this is conduction or convection, and probably a mixture of both, is because if we put the hand in there and we're really still, right, the water's going to move, but not that much, right, especially if the hand's really still. So if the water's not really moving, the hand's not really moving, you got two objects not moving that are in direct contact, that's more conduction. Okay, but I can also choose to move the hand around like this. Now the hand's moving and the water's moving, so that's more of a convection because you have objects moving past one another. Okay, and so you leave that in that bath for about 3 to 10 minutes, and then you take it out and immediately put it in the cold water one, okay, between 50 and 64 degrees Fahrenheit. You leave it in there between about 1 to 3 minutes. And again, you can either leave it static in there or you can move it around, same thing, and then you just repeat. Okay, I'm going to take this out immediately, put it in the hot water bath. And then I'm going to leave it in there 3 to 10 minutes, and then take it out and immediately put it in the cold water, and so on and so forth. Okay, and you do that basically for 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so that is a contrast bath. The only precaution here is that the limb is in a dependent position. What should the patient feel? Well, obviously warm in the warmer one and cold in the colder one. Okay, so that's the contrast bath. So hopefully this video gave you a good understanding of the different types of thermotherapy. In the next video, we will go into a lot more detail on infrared therapy, and we're going to see that its mechanism is very different. Then we're going to look at cryotherapy after that. Please make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for future videos and notifications. Thank you.